On tonight's North Fulton Prep Rally, we have all the big plays from this past week of pigskin action. It was a 4A throwdown as Chattahoochee and Johns Creek got together in a pivotal Region 7 matchup that would need overtime to decide a winner. After giving up 70 points a week ago, Centennial bounced back in a big way in their Thursday night Region 6 showdown with Milton. But was it enough to overcome the visiting Eagles? In AAA, North Springs has been shut out their last 3 games, so could the Spartans rally for a road victory at New Manchester? We'll answer these questions and many more on tonight's NFPR, and it starts right now.
Comcast presents your source for North Fulton High School sports. This is North Fulton Prep Rally.
Hello and welcome to another edition of North Fulton Prep Rally, where we bring you all the best action from around North Fulton High Schools. I'm Brian Wise, joined alongside Nathan Shutter, and you can catch us here on Comcast Channel 25 weeknights at 6, 8, and 10. And Nathan, there is a lot to get to, so let's jump right into it with our keys to the weekend.
Yeah, Chattahoochee winning an overtime thriller against rival Johns Creek, 19-16. Johns Creek kicked a field goal in overtime. Hooch scored a touchdown. That's the difference in the ball game.
And the Knights come from behind.
Unbelievable. They defeat Milton 21-20. The Knights trailed 14-0 at halftime, then blocked a PAT in the final minutes to seal the win.
And the Raiders in first place?
Oh yeah, Alpharetta defeats West Forsyth 27-14. They're the only unbeaten team left in Region 6. Nice leg up there in the region. Still a lot of football to be played, though.
Yes, there is. And let's get on to the highlights as we go to that big game. Johns Creek and Chattahoochee. The Gladiators were trying to stay unbeaten in region play. We picked this game up in the third quarter. Johns Creek down 3-0. Sky Overton gives to the running back Chase Solomon, who fights his way through and into open field. Solomon is going to dive into the end zone, giving the Gladiators a 7-6 lead. Fourth quarter now. Gladiators still up 7-6. Overton in trouble. Rolls out to the left before getting caught by Regis Kersakafikis.
Easy for you to say. The two teams would trade punts. Then late fourth quarter, Gladiators deep in their own territory. Overton gives to Solomon, who cuts to the outside, breaks a couple tackles, and gets out in the open down the sideline, finally being drugged down from behind.
And that would set up this field goal attempt by Kyle Fowler, who splits the uprights, and the Gladiators are going to take a 10-6 lead with just 2 minutes and 27 seconds remaining. The Cougars would have an answer, however. Just 23 seconds later, Travis Marshall is going to drop back, and he's going to connect deep downfield here to Marcus Sales, and no one is going to catch him. 61 yards later, the Cougars now up 13-10.
Johns Creek would not be finished. Very late in the game, Kyle Fowler again puts the ball just inside the upright to tie the game at 13, and we head to overtime.
After a Fowler field goal for the Gladiators' OT possession, the Cougars would take over deep in their territory, and Chase Nelson, the sophomore, would be the hero as the Cougars win this one 19-6. And Nathan, a big win for Chattahoochee, so what are the long-term ramifications from this game?
Well, they're huge. This win for Chattahoochee gets them right back in the mix for a region title. They only have one loss in the region. That was to Lambert. Johns Creek plays Lambert this week at home. A win by Johns Creek, which a lot of Chattahoochee fans will be cheering for them, will create a 3-way tie atop the region. So a very, very big game here. Very big games left to be played. All 3 teams, Lambert, Johns Creek, and Chattahoochee, in the mix for that region title. If Johns Creek can pull off the win this Friday night, that would be huge.
Things seem to be coming down to the wire. All right, back to the highlights now. And then Centennial Knights were looking to rebound at home after that tough loss to West Forsyth. They would welcome in the Eagles of Milton. Midway through the second quarter, Milton up 7-0. From midfield, Colin McElroy drops back to pass, decides to keep and takes off upfield, makes a couple of guys miss, and he is off and in for the touchdown. Milton leads at the half 14-0. First possession of the third quarter for the Knights. The option keeper for Jimmy Meyer. He cuts back across the field, is going to stiff arm a defender to the ground. He's going to keep his balance and get all the way inside the 10-yard line.
On the ensuing play, it's going to be Meyer. Again on the keeper, finds a hole and dives into the end zone, cutting the Eagle lead in half 14-7.
Later on in the quarter, third down for the Knights, Meyer drops back, fires the pass down the sideline, finds fellow senior Wade Francis, who was going to muscle his way inside the Eagle 40-yard line. A few plays later, the give is to Zetrick Smith, who finds a hole on the left side and has nothing but green in front of him. And touchdown Knights, and we are all tied up at 14.
Now late in the fourth quarter, Centennial driving. Meyer with the option to Cyril Teal, who gets around the edge, has one more to beat. Touchdown Knights, who take a 21-14 lead.
On the ensuing drive, Milton's Colin McElroy drops back to pass, gets flushed out of the pocket, and takes off upfield. He sheds a couple of tackles and gets brought down inside the Knights' 20-yard line. On 4th and 14, last chance for the Eagles, McElroy thinks about running, stops and finds Ryan Jenkins over the middle for the touchdown. Eagles down 21-20.
So it would all come down to the all-important extra point, and Cameron Carty comes up with a massive block for Centennial to seal the win. Unbelievable.
What a block, what a way to end the game. That was a tough loss there for Milton and an improbable win for Centennial. How much confidence does this give the Knights moving forward?
Oh, this has to be huge for Centennial. I mean, you're coming off a 70-20 loss on Friday night. You have a short week to prepare for Milton, who had a bye the week before. You fall down 14-0 at halftime. I don't know what the coaches said to the players at halftime, but it did something. 3 straight touchdowns to take the lead, and then late in the game, Cameron Carty coming up with the play of the year so far, blocking that extra point, sealing the victory. Centennial is 1-1 in the region. They're in a 4-way tie with everybody else. Alpharetta, the only team that is undefeated. Everyone else has 1 loss. This region is up for grabs. It's anyone's ball game at this point.
It's just getting fun. I can feel the excitement. Let's get to some more highlights now as we check in on North Springs, trying to win their first game of 2011. They would have to do so on the road against the Jaguars of New Manchester. Early first quarter, Jaguars' Trey Wilson passes in the flat and completes to wideout, who's going to find a wide open Darius Mebon in the end zone for a 7-0 lead. On the ensuing drive for the Spartans, the give is tailback Tyler Hemphill, who bursts through the line and is off. No one catches him, and North Springs ties this game up at 7.
New Manchester with the ball, second quarter. The Jaguars again with a trick play. The halfback pass is thrown deep downfield. This time the ball is intercepted by Jalen Holloman, who gets a nice return up around midfield, and the game is tied at the half, 7 apiece.
And now we move to the second half. Jaguars driving, the option keeper by the quarterback, and the ball is going to come loose, and the Spartans of North Springs recover the fumble. Big fumble, big recovery there, and then on the ensuing possession, Spartans are deep in Jaguar territory. The give is to Hemphill, who makes his way inside the 5-yard line before being stopped short of the goal line.
On the next play, Spartans back to pass, and the ball is going to be tipped in the air by John Wilson. Spartans are stopped on 3rd down.
And that would set up this field goal attempt, which is blocked by the Jaguars, and the game remains tied at 7 and headed into overtime. First overtime, North Springs scored on a touchdown on their possession. The Jaguars would look to answer on this short touchdown run by Ronnie Hall. After 1 overtime, the score is now 13-13.
Second overtime, Spartans trying to take the lead. The pitch is to Tyler Hemphill, who has the ball knocked out of his hands, and the Jaguars recover.
And that would set up this game-winning touchdown run here by Trey Wilson from 1 yard out, and the Jaguars win this one in double overtime, 19-13. And Nathan, that was a tough loss for the Spartans, who are looking for their first win since 2009.
Yeah, this was a good chance to grab one too, playing New Manchester. New Manchester, a brand new school, had been playing a JV schedule. This was actually the first varsity team they had played. Had some opportunities in overtime, missed that PAT, but still had opportunities after that one. This team's had a tough time scoring lately. They had been shut out 3 straight times before this game. Got some points on the board, so that's a good thing. Maybe this will give them a little momentum heading into the next game, and they can grab a W.
Yeah, that'd be big for these guys. Time now to recap the rest of Week 6 football action from around North Fulton. We start things off with the Raiders of Alpharetta looking to sit alone atop the region.
What a huge win for them. Playing West Forsyth at home. West Forsyth had put up 70 the week before. Alpharetta comes out on top 27-14. Josh Dobbs, 376 yards and 4 touchdowns in this game. Carlos Burris, Adam Schulthammer, Nevin Harton all caught touchdowns. Alpharetta will have another big one this week as they go on the road to Milton.
How about Northview?
A big win for the Titans, defeating North Forsyth on the road 39-13. Evan Jacks was 20 of 32, 280 yards, and also rushed for 92 yards. A big game for him. Terrence Upshaw also rushed for 2 touchdowns. The Northview defense had their best showing since their shutout against Meadow Creek in the first game of the season. Just a big game for them.
And how about Wesleyan?
They defeated Pace Academy 44-21. Sophomore quarterback Will Anderson was 20 of 31, 322 yards and 6 touchdowns. It was his first game back from injury. Rodney Morris caught 9 passes for 114 yards. Eric Sunderman had 6 catches, 165 yards and 2 touchdowns in this game. They're at Kings Ridge this Friday night.
And Blessed Trinity?
A huge win against Westminster, 21-14. That broke a 5-game losing streak to Westminster. It was only their second win since 2005. against Westminster. Great start to the region slate. Spencer McManus ran for 1 touchdown, threw for another. Jordan Denson also added 1 on the ground. As Blessed Trinity will travel to Maynard Jackson this Friday.
And Marist.
Yeah, Marist played on a Monday night because of Music Midtown. They defeat Carver Atlanta 21-6. Marist moves up to number 7 in the 4A. They remain second in the region behind Tucker and Mays. Miles Willis had 1 rushing touchdown. Jason Morris scored 2 touchdowns. Carver's lone touchdown came on a long 80-yard pass play. Next game will be at home against Lakeside for Marist. So a big game there for the War Eagles.
Yeah, now let's get back to Alpharetta. Are they getting geared up here for this state playoffs?
Well, still a long way before the state playoffs. They are on top of the region right now. They have to feel pretty good about that. A very balanced offense. Joshua Dobbs is doing it through the air. The ground game has been great with Jalen Simmons, and the defense has played really well, which is a recipe for success if you get to the state playoffs. But still a lot of football to be played. They have to get in there first, but if they do make the state playoffs, I think they'll be a very tough out for anybody who has to play them.
Yeah, I wouldn't look forward to that. Now, football is a team game, but how important is Will Anderson to his team?
He's so crucial to Wesleyan. I mean, look at the past 2 games when he did not play. They got shut out 1 game. They only scored 14 points in the other. Then he comes back and throws 6 touchdowns in this game. Sunderman did a great job filling in for him at quarterback, but they need him to be a wideout. He had 2 touchdown catches in this game. Will Anderson, so crucial. If Wesleyan's going to make a run in the single-A playoffs, they're going to need this quarterback to be healthy and productive on the field.
Well, it's getting down to that time, just a few weeks remaining, and that's going to do it, though, for this week. You can catch us back here on Comcast Channel 25 for game highlights and features, and be sure to like North Fulton Prep Rally on Facebook. And you can also follow us on Twitter to see what's happening on the show. For Nathan Shutter, I'm Brian Wise. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you under the lights.
Grab some wood there, bub.